PSG 553 RAC cable gland consists of 6 key components: entry, multi-single seal diaphragm, reversible armour clamping ring, middle nut with patented tightening guide, and back nut. This dual certified cable gland is designed for use with all types of elastomer and plastic insulated cables, including armoured, braided, and unarmoured cable types. The PSG 553 RAC is especially suitable for cables that exhibit cold flow characteristics, are not effectively filled, or have hygroscopic fillers. Assembly instructions are provided with Hawke cable glands or can be downloaded by the Hawke website. Allow sufficient length of cable to suit the equipment that the cable is being terminated into. Strip the outer sheath and cut the armour to enable connection of the conductors to the terminal. Remove a further 20 mm of outer sheath for cable glands OS to A size and 25 mm for B to C size. First, strip the inner sheath back to the end of the armour or braid to allow for the multi-single seal diaphragm to seat inside the spigot. Remove any fillers, plastic, or coatings present in the cable. If required, prepare any drain wires or screens as per assembly instructions 2028. Slide the back nut, middle nut, and armour clamping ring onto the cable. Ensure that the orientation of the reversible armour clamping ring is correct, with the arrowhead indicating the correct armour, braid, or tape pointing to the equipment. Always refer to the Hawke assembly instructions for guidance on the correct armour clamping orientation. Please note that alternative rings may be required if the cable doesn't fall within the RAC standard clamping range. Spread the armour or braid by gently pulling it away from the inner sheath of the cable. A screwdriver may be required for larger types of cables. Slide the spigot over the cable. Push the armour or braid up to the spigot shoulder and slide the clamping ring up to the armour or braid by hand. Ensure the multi-single seal diaphragm is removed from the assembly. Slide the entry over the cable and slide the middle nut up to the entry and hand tighten. Support the cable to prevent it twisting. Grip the entry with a spanner or wrench and use a second spanner or wrench to tighten 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn. Unscrew the middle nut. The armour clamping ring should now be locked in place. Visually inspect the armour or braid has been successfully clamped between the spigot and the armoured clamping ring. If it isn't satisfactory, repeat the previous step. Snip the conductors of the cable to equal lengths and ensure that any sharp edges are removed. Snip the seal at the required cut point for the diameter of the cable cores. If the seal is not fully populated, ensure that the seal tips remain in place for any unused positions. Hawke recommends that the seals are populated from the center positions first and are evenly distributed as much as possible to ensure consistent compression. Feed each conductor into the correct seal position. It is recommended that you use the symmetry of the conductors in the cable and position in the opening of the correct diaphragm. Push the multi-single seal diaphragm down the conductors until it is properly seated into the spigot. Ensure each diaphragm cone is in complete contact with the conductor around the full diameter. If the seal is ripped during this process and the cone is not in complete contact with the conductor, then the seal must be replaced. Use a wrench to fit the entry into the enclosure. If required, fit the appropriate IP washer onto the entry thread. Depending on the enclosure used, the method of installation will vary. Slide the cable through the entry until the multi-single seal diaphragm is seated. Hand tighten the middle nut to the entry and add the required number of turns with a wrench as stated in the assembly instruction. tighten the back nut until the seal is formed around the cable. Use a wrench or spanner to apply one further full turn to the back nut. Use our patented middle nut tightening guide as an indication that the back nut is in the correct position to suit the cable diameter. Please note that diameter scale is provided in our installation instructions to help with this process. Installation is now complete.